Hello Motor Rider World fans and welcome to Paddock Talk, talking everything MotoGP from a busy Saturday in Germany at the Sachsenring. And now this is kind of a Paddock Talk mixed with a scoop or poop episode, because I've spoken about it time and time again how things just seem to be changing in MotoGP from weekend to weekend, from race to race, and it's done it again heading into the Sachsenring round of MotoGP. Big news heading into the weekend is, and we had kind of thought it was a scoop that Miguel Oliveira had signed with Ducati. We had seen the photos, I had seen with my own eyes, that he had walked into the Cressini truck with Paolo Ciabatti and everyone from Ducati and Cressini. That was a done deal. It then came out that there was a conflict in interest with sponsors. It was then came out that he had signed a factory Ducati contract, and if he was either going to go to the factory team alongside Pecco or the Pramac team alongside Bastianini or Martin, or the Cressini team alongside whoever else their second rider would be. But it looks like things have changed there. As I said, there might be a conflict of interest with Miguel and Ducati. Miguel is sponsored, has a personal sponsorship from Hyundai cars. And of course, Ducati being owned by Audi and Lamborghini and all those tie-ins could be a conflict of interest there. So it seems now that Miguel has been speaking to RNF Aprilia, Razlan's team for the 2023 season and beyond. And even the big bosses from Aprilia MotoGP have come out saying that we are talking to Miguel Oliveira. Miguel Oliveira has had a meeting with Razlan, and that could be a potential deal. And judging by a lot of the reports coming out of this weekend, the likes of Manuel Pacino and all those top journalists, looks like Miguel Oliveira has signed that deal with RNF Aprilia. So we'll have to wait and see how that happens. I can see why he could potentially look at that move over Ducati, obviously for the personal sponsorship with Hyundai and Audi, that whole situation. But also it seems like he's been offered more of a factory ride with the Aprilia setup. He will get a factory Aprilia bike within the RNF Aprilia team, but it looks like he will be given first choice or first option in 2 years' time to take either Aleix Espargaro, who will be, 37, 38 years old by then, and could be looking at calling time on his MotoGP career, or Maverick Vinales, with whatever happens there. If Maverick goes and tries and blows up some Aprilia engines or wants to leave MotoGP, whatever the Maverick situation is, you never know what you're going to get with Maverick. So it looks like that is what has really enticed Miguel Oliveira, other than the fact that the Aprilia just seems to be a really good package at the moment, and he would get the full attention in the RNF Aprilia team. And as I said, all the reports are coming out now that Miguel Oliveira has signed that deal. So where does it leave the likes of Darryn Binder? Razlan spoke to Simon Crafar in FP3 today on Saturday, and he said he's very impressed with Darryn, loves the progress he's making, works really well with the team. I've seen that connection that Darryn has in that RNF team this year on Yamahas with Razlan. So Darryn is certainly up as one of the options. Then of course is still Raul Fernandez that's up an option. His attitude and the way he's gone about things this year maybe could be a little spanner in the works for Razlan if he looks at how he hasn't really gelled in MotoGP, hasn't gelled with the team, hasn't had the right attitude in many ways. So we'll have to wait and see there. He's also being linked now to Cressini Ducati now that Miguel could be potentially on his way to Aprilia. Razlan did say that obviously waiting for some of those pieces of the puzzle to be filled in by some of the other teams to see which riders were still available. But Razlan did say there's so many good riders available and young riders available within the MotoGP paddock at the moment that they won't be looking into Moto2. They'll definitely look at one-year experienced MotoGP riders, the likes of Raul Fernandez, the likes of Darryn Binder. Celestino Vietti is another one, Moto2 rider that's come out, or the rumors have come out that he has definitely signed with RNF. So it's Miguel and Vietti. But then you hear Razlan say that they're not exploring the Moto2 option, and you kind of think, okay, well, the one-year experienced is either Raul Fernandez or Darryn Binder. So we'll have to wait and see how that all plans out. But certainly the Miguel to Ducati that we all thought was scoop is now looking more like poop, and Miguel to RNF Aprilia is looking more like a scoop. So that was the big news heading into the MotoGP weekend, and it was great hearing from Razlan and his thoughts, not only on how he's impressed with Darryn, but how they are in talks with riders and waiting to see how other fields or other areas kind of play out. And maybe they were waiting to see what happened with the Miguel Oliveira to Ducati situation before they signed him. that does leave a couple of riders that look like they're on the chopping block. Alex Rins looks like the rider at the moment with no real seat confirmed. Paul Espargaro looks like he will be heading to Tech 3 KTM, back to KTM, where he had a really good relationship, left on good terms. So that'll be a nice fit in for them. We know Jack Miller is already going to Red Bull KTM. Pilot Jabati came out now and said the factory ride in the Ducati, the second factory seat alongside Pecco, is definitely between Enea Bastianini and Martin. They'd like to give Martin a little bit more time now that his body's healing, that he's 100% fit after the surgery that he's just had, to show a bit more of his potential before making that decision. They're hoping to make it within the first 2 rounds in August. So that's after Silverstone and Mazzano possibly make that announcement who will be the factory rider alongside Pecco Bagnaia in the factory team. He also went on record saying that Zarco will be signing a new contract and staying within the Pramac setup. So that eliminates another seat in MotoGP. We all kind of speculated that Zarco could be on his way out, but it looks like Zarco is staying put in the Pramac team. So who will his teammate be? Will it be Martin with a slightly better Ducati contract? Will it be Enea Bastianini up from Cressini in there? Will it be Miguel Oliveira? Will it be DJ Antonio? Will it be Alex Rins? We'll have to wait and see. So much still to play out there. As I said, it's pretty much a scoop and poop and paddock talk segment that we've got going on here. Let's talk about the busy Saturday, the very hot Saturday in Germany. We saw in the FP3 session, it was really... the lap times were so fast. Even in that searing heat, the track temperatures were out of control. Some of the hottest we've had this year so far around a track that pretty much just turns left. It's going to be so physically demanding on the riders, mentally, and the abuse on the Michelin tyre on the left-hand side is going to just, it's going to be a big factor that all the riders are going to have to take into consideration heading into the Sunday race. Temperatures are going to be even hotter, and it's going to be about tyre management and who can make it last physically, mentally, and tyres and machines. So it really is going to be a great battle at the front end. But from the FP3, I mean, the top 9 riders all were within Marc Marquez's previous lap record of that 120.187. That is how fast the pace was. Unfortunately, Brad is still suffering a bit, although he did make progress in FP3, as did Darryn, but they still found themselves a little bit further down. So they had to find something. They both went into the Q1 session, went into Q1, and again, I was a little bit horrified and a little bit disappointed with the Q1 of seeing these riders just coasting. You know, in Moto3, they would get hammered. You would get penalized. Darryn Binder got penalized. How many times? Other riders got penalized so many times about this coasting in Moto3. The same rule doesn't seem to apply in MotoGP. Brad was on a decent lap, decent first sector on his second fast stint, and then had to sit up because they were coasting riders. And then next minute, for a minute and a half on TV, you just saw MotoGP riders cruising. I think it's terrible. I think race direction or race stewards or whoever makes the call needs to clamp down on that. So Brad and Darryn both had this inconsistent Q1. Brad just couldn't make it work. We've seen it so many times where he just can't get the best out of a 1-lap fast time. He did improve throughout the weekend. FP4 looked pretty decent. He says he's got, you know, he should be able to have a good race pace. The problem is starting from 15th now at Sachsenring, and not an easy place to pass. Behind 15 riders on a very hot track, it's going to overheat that front tyre, and we know that causes all kinds of different problems. So it's going to be a very tough race for Brad Binder, although he did find a little bit extra time. Still, if I read Brad's debriefs and I look at his body stature and the way he presents himself, definitely seems to be a little bit of annoyance. He's a little bit upset with the whole project now. We know Miguel Oliveira has just said he can't have enough of he's out of this KTM project. He doesn't have any more patience with it. Brad looks like he's getting to that point now. This theme of the struggles just seems to be playing out week in, week out, and it seems to be becoming a big problem. So Brad certainly looks a little bit more vocal, a little bit more body language coming out in terms of KTM, and they just don't seem to be finding a solution. So let's see how the race goes for him. But like I said, 15th around Sachsenring is going to be hard to pass, plus the track conditions with that heat. It's going to be a very tough race for Brad. But if anyone can do it, we know Brad is a Sunday man, and we know one thing is for sure. He'll give 110% and he will do his best. Currently last 6th in the World Championship, so just churn away at those points and get the best result he possibly can and stay positive. I know Brad is one of the best at doing that, mentally one of the strongest, always positive, but it's got to be eating away at him. And you can see, as I said, the way he's talking about it now, it's eating away. He's getting a little bit frustrated with the team, and I'm sure the team are getting a little bit frustrated as well, because if you look at the likes of Bezeki and DJ Antonio making it out of Q1, Brad's a better rider than those guys, we know. But take nothing away from the Ducati riders and DG and Biggs. They're doing the job, but Simon Crayford said it as well. Brad Binder does not deserve to be down there. He deserves to be up inside that top 5. So let's hope for a good race for Brad Binder. Darryn Binder, the same kind of problems in qualifying. Didn't really show the kind of pace that Darryn has and how good the weekend was going. He's 24th on the grid. Just can't make qualifying work when it's a light fuel tank. On those soft tyres, just can't get the best out of that situation to get a fast lap time. Proved in FP3 and FP4 that he's got something for Sunday. But the problem is he's starting in 24th place again, and that is his biggest handbrake. We know he gets really good starts. We know he races really well. Just got to try and get himself a little bit further up that grid to challenge those above him. But I think he's going to have a great race. He came out and said as well, he just couldn't get a lap together in Q1, made a couple of mistakes and just couldn't get the best out of it. But we know come Sunday, Darryn will get that race pace going. But again, 24th on the grid, overheating front tyres with the hot track temperatures, a very narrow track. It only goes left, not a lot of overtaking situations. So Darryn's really going to have to work hard at it. And again, let's hope that he can get the best out of that tough situation. So that is it from Sachsenring Saturday MotoGP Paddock Talk and a bit of scoop and poop. Catch up with me tomorrow for a Sunday roundup of Paddock Talk from Sachsenring and MotoGP. And then remember, live Monday night, we go talking MotoGP on the Motor Rider World Facebook page, live from 8 p.m. South African time.